is in a sullen mood and wrapped in darkness at full moon. Her snoring elders with their brood make drowsy crowds dance to their tune. This welter of metallic toys will not take mankind very far, because too soon the playful boys will use them for a deadly war.
The very presence, very sight, and e'en existence of this hulk of unrestricted wealth or might is virtual poison for the bulk of mankind, as it generates a competition fierce and keen for these two tempters, which creates a ceaseless battlefront between the toiling masses and the rich, or those who hold the higher grades, for which the former always itch, till slowly hate their heart invades. Projected on a larger scale, the same two sirens lead to war, and if remedial measures fail, will always mankind's prospects mar. There is no hope of lasting peace or love among the nations, till these two tempters do but cease to incite the mobs to fight and kill.
Why we of high ideals dream or harbor bright utopias is just because a guiding beam tells us to change our social laws. The office of the awakened sage is how to actualize these dreams. What are the errors, what the rage, what the excesses and extremes which stubbornly obstruct the way leading toward the appointed goal? For dazzled by a bright display, a toxic glow from burning coal, the festive crowds drunk with delight, the rulers, scholars, traders, priests, enchanted by the wondrous sights, engrossed in pleasure, fun, and feasts, regard with disbelief at first the warnings from that holy shore. But soon, when missiles start to burst, they see ablaze the glittering store.
To what degree the human mind, the learned and unlettered both, can be insensitive and blind, as if bound by a solemn oath, not to admit in any case what is a stark reality, a clear truth, staring in the face, so striking none can fail to see.
A war is brewing, as the learned have no idea of nature's plan, to which the bulk their back have turned as arrogantly as they can.
One can foresee with what contempt the poor survivors of the war, distraught, disheveled and unkempt, would view those now in front rows are, who saw the signs but made no move until the gathering storm broke out, to drive them bleeding from the groove, not with endearment, but the knout.
A competitive humankind, contending for the pride of place, or wealth and assets one can find in other segments of the race, cannot survive, try as she might, for much time in the nuclear age, as contest of fire can ignite, which earth can lick up with its rage.
The only way that can ensure survival is remove the cause, the tempting bait, the catching lure that prompt the use of teeth and claws. There is no harm if some attain to rank or greater share of wealth, but they become luxurious, vain, and prodigal, which ruins health, and sets a bad example for the rest by kindling envy's fire, so that they labor too hard or become corrupt and roll in mire, to have a larger bank account, computer, sailboat, or a car, a plane to fly or horse to mount, delights of free love with a star. Something new, more expensive than the brand or model which they own, a villa on a grander plan, built with the headache of a loan.
Mankind is passing through the age of dreams come true of scientists, and with their gifts have set the stage now for the rule of nuclear fists. What mental plagues will be her share if this accursed infernal race, with more and more destructive wear, continues at a faster pace, unless kind nature takes a stand to make the hotheads see the light, and comes down with a heavy hand to bring to dust their vaunted might.
The arsenals built by the urge to power, by lust, ambition, greed, nature will soon use as the purge to cure these current ills with speed. This awful drama shall reveal how marvelously nature works, and how in all with which we deal, her hand behind the curtain lurks.
Mistaken are the folk who think that science and technology have come to make the earth a rink for acrobatic skaters free.
In truth, these are beginnings made to bring about a change profound, and human life and thought to upgrade the brain and lift to higher ground.
Above the fear of famine, drought, disease, want, flood, and drudgery, so that to win the trophy sought, we would be relatively free.
This is the object kept in view. When heaven the seer's diploma grants, he to the rest must guidance give when the path sharply dips or slants.
The wind of change is blowing hard. Only the learned and the elite, who our laws and traditions guard, still fail to read the signs aright.
For mankind has stepped as a whole from childhood into adolescence, but most still act a childish role due to our mentors' lack of sense. The ills of child delinquency, of drug addiction, drink, and vice, which grow in count and frequency, are warning signs which should suffice to tell us that something is wrong in modern life, to make us pause and look round patiently for long until we hit upon the cause.
In order that our tender brain is mounting up a hard ascent, and we must vigilant remain a wrong direction to prevent.
A huge securely fastened weight suspended from an urchin's neck would soon deformities create, a beauty of the figurette.
This is what modern pressures do without our knowledge to our brains.
And with that, to our thinking too, while we collect material gains.
This grave neglect to this is due, that knowledge often takes it ill to be told what is plain and true, that our brain is evolving still. Convinced that what he says is right, as dogma, not a proven fact, for he cannot throw any light on how mind does on brain react, nor has the least awareness of what fuels mind, and how is it? He does not know what marks off a genius from a normal wit.
What I assert will be borne out when more is known about the brain, and those who now my statement doubt will not long in the dark remain. That genius is attended by abnormal or eccentric traits is nature's hint that we should try our best to explore these morbid states and find out why, before its bloom, the human mind degenerates or is enshrouded in the gloom of madness, as if ruled by fates. 100 cases are there to show how often genius is allied to madness, but we do not know why they should flourish side by side. A study of the more remote religious genius could have solved the riddle had we taken note that knowledge from priestcraft evolved.
O skeptic, you have done much harm by your precipitate comments. You know not how you flex your arm or cognize objects and events, but only to parade your skill and wit in arguing, you rush among the erudite to sit, a trait which ought to make you blush.
The events to come shall make you wise with blows to what your reason failed to grasp, preventing further rise, when you the shrine of faith assailed. The drama that shall soon unfold on earth to enwrap her mighty stage in flames with loss and deaths untold shall usher in a golden age.
The earth is ailing, water sick, and nations on the brink of war. Air with the fumes of poison thick, because mankind has wandered far from her divinely ordered route in search of pleasure, wealth, and ease, her passions and desires to suit, her fancies and her whims to please.
Were there no fault or blemish left for us to exert our skill and brain, how could we grow more smart and deft, or more extended knowledge gain?